like the best cookies ever in the history of cookies, and anyone else who does them is going to look pathetic. She poured flakes and milk and blueberries into her bowl, pausing with her spoon poised. Have you seen the cookies they sell? They're like amazing. So we have to do cupcakes or brownies or gingerbread or something, and I don't know what to put. Ben opened his mouth, but no answer came out. His non-caffeinated brain completely empty of inspiration. Brownies, cupcakes, or gingerbread? If someone had told him 2 years ago that someday the question of Christmas fair baked goods would be more complicated than the riddle of the Sphinx, he would have laughed them into next week. But a lot of things had changed in the last 2 years. His obnoxiously perfect overachiever sister and her most reliable man on the planet husband were gone. Astrid was his responsibility, and he was now on a Facebook group for parents in Astrid's class, which seemed to double as a master class in passive-aggressive mommy shaming, or uncle shaming in his case. Brownies, cupcakes, or gingerbread. Whichever he chose, he needed to be prepared to defend that choice with the latest child nutrition studies, or he'd be shredded on the group. Were they gluten-free? Were they prepared on a surface a nut had touched in the last 2 decades? How many grams of sugar? How many carbs? Were the eggs from organic, cage-free, happy chickens with a quality of life that would rival his own? Had an ancestor of the dairy cow that produced the milk once been given antibiotics? He wanted to be a responsible guardian. He wanted Astrid to be healthy and happy, which meant worrying about all the things that he was supposed to worry about. But sometimes it seemed like there was no winning except for the oh-so-helpful people who wanted to tell him he was doing something wrong, because he was always doing something wrong. Brownies, cupcakes, or gingerbread. He needed coffee for this decision. Every choice had become an important one the second he'd become Astrid's guardian, but this felt like he was being set up to fail. Why were they constantly doing bake sales if half the parents thought sugar and flour were poison? Sometimes he just wanted to wear a t-shirt to drop off with "I survived high fructose corn syrup" on the front in block letters, but he wasn't sure he'd live to tell the tale. This parenting stuff wasn't for the faint of heart. "We can just do brownies," Astrid spoke to his back as he faced the useless coffee maker. She didn't sound upset, but the "just" dug into his chest. Katie never would have done just anything. She was supermom, queen of bake sales, but she'd also had a wicked sense of humor and never taken herself too seriously. She was the kind of mom every kid wanted to grow up with. She was the mom Astrid should have grown up with. But now his niece was stuck with him and his less-than-stellar baking skills, and he refused to let her down. "Nah, let's do something fun," he insisted, forcing cheer into his tone, as if his entire neural network wasn't begging for coffee. "How about gingerbread?" He'd never made gingerbread a day in his life. Please let gingerbread be easy. "Really?" The note of disbelief in Astrid's voice had him doubling down. "Yeah. How hard can it be?" His niece grimaced. "Maybe we should do the brownies." "Are you implying I can't do gingerbread?" "I might not be able to do gingerbread." "Kinda." Ben huffed out a laugh at her honesty. "We're doing it. Gingerbread." His phone dud-dud, another Jaws warning, and he resisted the urge to fish it out of his pocket, catching sight of the clock on the microwave. Crap. "You gonna be ready soon? We're running late." Again. Astrid was already dressed in her school clothes, but he was going to have to hurry to find a clean enough work shirt if he was going to get her to school on time. The washer had been on the fritz for the last 2 weeks, and he was running out of clean options. With the Thanksgiving holiday messing with schedules, the only time the repairman had been able to come out had conflicted with Astrid's parent-teacher conferences, so they were making do with sink laundry until he could reschedule. Just another of the many things he wasn't quite keeping up with, and now he had to add fixing the Keurig to the list. How novel it must be to actually have enough hours in the day. He vaguely remembered what that felt like, though the memory was distant. Astrid slid off her stool, taking her bowl to the sink. "Brownies are cool, too."